The first two chapters gives Atma Vidya. The last two chapters present the Atma Vidya as a story. And finally, the Shishya asks, all that you spoke for 5 days, nothing is understood. Everything went over the head. So what should I do? For which he gives a sadhana. This is the broad outline of the Kenopanishad. Quickly we'll summarize the whole Upanishad and then we'll go to Indra, who is still waiting for us. In the first mantra, the student comes and asks this question, Keneshidam patati preshidam manaha, etc. கொஞ்சம் கம்மி பண்ணுப்பா, கொஞ்சம் கம்மி பண்ணிடு. பரவாயில்ல, யாருக்கும் கேட்கலன்னா பரவாயில்ல. In the first mantra, the Shishya asks a very, very important question. From where does matter gain sentiency? Is the question. Keneshidam patati preshitam manaha, kenaf pranaf pratama, whatever that question is. Matter does not have sentiency. Matter cannot produce sentiency. If matter can produce sentiency, consciousness, we could have produced consciousness in the lab already. We cannot produce consciousness like that. Since matter does not produce sentiency, since matter cannot have sentiency, but we see it having sentient, but we see it being sentient, being alive, being conscious, being alert, being aware. Therefore, the question is, what is it that principle that is, what is the sentient principle that is enlivening the body, mind, the senses, etc., the matter? To put it in a very simple way, the matter. The matter is known through the pramanams of pratyaksha, anumana, upamana. Matter can be known through the pramanams of pratyaksha, anumana, upamana. Spirit is not the subject matter of pratyaksha, anumana, upamana. Consciousness is not the subject matter of pratyaksha, anumana, upamana. Therefore, Veda alone becomes the subject matter. Veda alone becomes the pramanam for the study on the consciousness. This is the fundamental, this is a very fundamental premise. What is this? Consciousness is a subject matter of inquiry for, it has been there from the time human being came into existence, if at all they came into existence. The subject matter of inquiry about the subject matter, the inquiry about consciousness was there from the beginning. Neurosciences try to approach consciousness in a different way. The psychology approaches consciousness in a different way. Vedanta approaches consciousness in a different way. The first two tries to approach consciousness through the method of pratyaksha, anumana and upamana, for which Vedanta comes and says, by that pramanam you can never arrive at the consciousness. Example, gadget and the electricity. When you buy a fan in the store, it's not rotating. When you buy a fan, it's not rotating. So only when it is connected with electricity, it starts moving. Therefore, what is that electricity with which, when this inert matter of body, mind, intellect gets connected, it appears to be, there is a life in it. So what is that enlivening principle? What is it that is connecting to the body, mind, intellect, just as electricity is connecting to the gadget? Just as electricity is connecting to the gadget, making it functioning, what is that principle that is connecting with the matter equipments, making it sentient, is the question. Keneshidam padati preshidam manaha, etc. That is the question. What is the answer? An indirect definition he gave. The question is direct, the answer is indirect. The question is direct. What is that? What is the enlivening principle is the question, for which the answer is Shrotrasya Shrotram, an indirect answer. Why it is indirect answer? It has to be an indirect answer only because it is not a separate, independent, physically extractable entity, consciousness. Therefore, it can be only spoken about indirectly. You cannot directly talk about consciousness, because the one who is talking about consciousness is enabled by the consciousness. Therefore, consciousness cannot be discussed from that angle. Therefore, indirect definitions alone helps. That is the Veda. And we have to accept Veda as the Pramanam because subject matter of Veda is Brahman. Because it alone has the Pramanam. Why it has the Pramanam? The way in which they have studied, understood, etc. All that I am summarizing all that we have studied till now. What is the essence of the definition that he has given till now about consciousness? Consciousness is different from each and every sense organ. That is the first indication. It is different. It means, is it a separate entity? No. It is distinct and separate from the sense organ. At the same time, it pervades all the sense organs completely, fully. So, it is separate, independent and pervasive. How can you understand that? You can only say this is blabbering, that's all. Because if you call it as a separate entity, then it has a separate existence. No, it is a separate entity at the same time pervasive. It is pervasive, independent, pervasive. That consciousness alone makes every sense organ by itself, which is jada. When it is enlivened, it is different, pervasive, enlivens. Shrotrasya Shrotram. This is consciousness. One person said, "Thank you, I understood." One person said, "Thank you, I understood." Rest are all still looking, not knowing. Question is also not understood. The question is also not understood. More than the question, the answer is also not understood. So what is the consciousness? Consciousness is an independent, pervasive, enlivening factor, which cannot be known through any other pramanams of pratyaksha, anumana and upamana. So what is the definition of Veda? The definition of Veda is the subject matter that it deals where other pramanams cannot reach. That's the meaning of the word Veda. In one of the great saints, one of the great rishis of the past, Sainacharya, who wrote the Veda Bhashya. He wrote Bhashyam to the Vedas. Shankara wrote Bhashyam to the Upanishads. The Sainacharya wrote Bhashyam to the Vedas itself. In that, he gives the definition of Veda. What is Veda means? That which has its subject matter where pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, etc. cannot come. we talk about the 4, and then there are 5 and 6. Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi. So there are 5 matter related pramanams, and there is one consciousness related pramanam. The one pramanam related to the consciousness is called Veda. The 5 related to the matter is Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi. These are all the 5 pramanams. So, since the question that is asked is about consciousness, which these 5 cannot access and understand, it becomes the authority. Veda alone becomes a pramanam for the study of the consciousness. How to understand it? How to make it clear, understandable? In the later on textbooks, they elaborate the features of consciousness. Later on books, they further elaborate the various features of consciousness. Consciousness is not a part, product or property of the matter. Consciousness is not part of the matter. Consciousness is not product of the matter. Consciousness is not property of the matter. It's not part, product, property. 2. Consciousness is an independent principle pervading enlivening. Next, when the matter goes, consciousness still remains. When the matter disappears, when the matter dissolves, consciousness doesn't get dissolved. Consciousness still exists. That pure consciousness is not available for transactions. When we say it's not available for transactions, means you cannot talk about it, you cannot feel about it, you cannot think about it. It is not available for transactions, means the body, mind, intellect component can in no way access them. This pure consciousness is Shrotrasya Shrotram, is the answer given. Are you okay till now? This is summary. I am just summarizing the whole Upanishad. Because if the research fellows throw us out, at least we have summarized it. Then the next question is what? Sakshatkara. How can I know that consciousness? How can I experience that consciousness? How can I realize that consciousness? How can I directly contact that consciousness? Sakshatkara, the Brahma Sakshatkara, they say technically. So next question is the Sakshatkara. How does it happen? How can I have the experience of the consciousness? Meaning, how can I have the experience of God? Because consciousness and God is one and the same. Technical name for it is consciousness. Layperson calls it as God. The Vedantic name for it is Brahman. So the next question is, how can I know that Brahman? How can I experience that Brahman? How can I have that Sakshatkara, Brahma Sakshatkara, what is known as Brahma Anubhava? How can I have it? Again, the answer says, no. This question itself is wrong. It's a wrong question you are asking, because you are in that Anubhava already. You are in that Anubhava already. You don't have to do anything to create that Anubhava. You don't have to do anything for that Sakshatkara. You are in that Brahma Sakshatkara already. If I am in that Anubhava already, why am I not knowing it? Why am I not feeling it? Why am I not able to understand it? For which the answer is, again go back to Shrotrasya Shrotram. When you are trying through the instruments, it is not available for transaction. So consciousness is that which is not available for transaction, which is not available for any instrument which is made up of matter. That which is made up of matter cannot have Brahma Anubhava, because it is the Brahma that is enlivening this. It is that Brahman, it is the consciousness that is enlivening this. Therefore, I cannot tell you how to know. That's what he said. I do not know how to teach you. First he said Shrotrasya Shrotram, and then he said, I do not know how to teach you. Does anybody remember all this? We studied all this here, isn't it? When everybody is looking as though they are hearing it so fresh, I am confused now. Whether are we doing the same text or some other text? Huh? Consciousness does not come under the known category. Consciousness cannot come under the unknown category. Viditam, aviditam. You cannot categorize it as known, neither can you categorize it as unknown. All our attempts to know something is what? From unknown to known. All knowledge means what? That which is unknown, you do something and that unknown will become known. That is what knowledge is. It is unknown, and then you go through some study, you go through some process, you may use some instruments, I don't know what all we do. So over a period of time, the unknown becomes known. Brahman is not a knowable existing entity. Consciousness is not a knowable existing entity. Some word we have to use. Entity la Brahman is not a knowable existent. Abdinna Usha ma'am will tell me, go back to kindergarten and start English language properly. You can't just leave it halfway hanging like that. Therefore, you have to use one word and say entity. So, what is Brahman? Brahman is a unknowable existing entity. That unknowable existing entity is you, Tattvamasi. That unknowable existing entity is you. Matter is noun and consciousness is adjective if you are in ignorance. When you are in ignorance, what is noun and what is adjective? Matter is noun. Consciousness becomes adjective. When you become wise, what will happen? Remember, human being. Being is the noun. Human is the adjective. Shrotrasya Shrotram is what? Shift. The consciousness that appears as an adjective will turn into noun. Tell this to your professor. What is Kenopanishad? He asked to know. Go and tell this to your professor. Shift from noun to adjective. Epistemology, ontology, isn't it? Nallamo logy, mythology. It's very. Kenopanishad makes it very very clear, very straightforward. Shift. What is the shift? I'm just showing off to him, because his professor sent him to check on me. So I'm showing off now. Go. The consciousness which is an adjective, which we mistake to be an adjective, through understanding turns into a noun. Shrotrasya Shrotram. How to know that now? How to know that now? You don't know it you understand you are that. You don't know it. Don't make an attempt to know it. Making an attempt to know it is the game of the ego. The game of the ego is making an attempt to know it, because the knower is always superior to the known. Therefore, if you know God, you become super God. Super God knowing God. Who is the super God knowing God? I can stand in front of the mirror and congratulate myself. I know God, because you have become a super God now. No. It is not knowing. You don't make an attempt to know. You don't make an attempt to know. You only become. Become means what? Through knowledge you understand you are that already. Becoming means knowledge makes you to, knowledge helps you to become. Now becoming means recognizing you are that already. In order to know something, it has to be an object with nama, rupa, guna, karma. If you have to know something, that known must consist nama, rupa, guna, karma. Now consciousness can take all nama, rupa, guna, karma. It doesn't have any. In its original state, it is not knowable, and also it has the capacity to take all the nama, rupa, guna, karma. So it can become each and every nama, rupa, guna, karma, and also it can exist independent by itself. Now, when it becomes every nama, rupa, guna, karma, vibhuti yoga. That is vibhuti. That is the glory. So wherever you see any nama, rupa, guna, karma, it is Brahman. But sir, this is good Brahman, this is bad Brahman. This is good God, this is Rakshasa. This good and bad is that which is related to your, the good and bad, right and wrong is related to your instruments. Good and bad, right and wrong is related to your what? Mind. Ragadvesha. Very close. Mind, Ragadvesha, very close. Vasana. The right and wrong, good and bad and all belongs to your moods. It's a mood, that's all. According to your moods, right and wrong, good and bad keeps changing. Therefore, Brahman also is not going to act according to your moods. Unga moods unga keta madhi, Brahman also will not swing. Therefore, every nama, rupa, guna, karma, irrespective of the swing, he is there. I don't know, he, she, it, emna potukla. Yeah. Or you can say he, she, it, and beyond that also you can put. That is consciousness. That is Shrotrasya, Shrotram. Therefore, minus the adjective human, what remains is consciousness. You remove that, what remains is consciousness. Now, how do you remove that? Removing doesn't mean erasing it, eradicating it. Removing means understanding that is also consciousness. Again I repeat, removing doesn't mean you melt it. Removing doesn't mean you vaporize it. Removing means what? Removing the matter means, I don't know what you think by the word removal. It's not, removal doesn't mean erasing, eradicating, vaporizing. It is not that. Removal means what? It is understood as consciousness only. That's how the human thing which is an ignorance gets eradicated. Kahudevo yunakti. That's the question. And Kenopanishad came up with its own Mahavakya. Every Upanishad has its own Mahavakya, Gita has its own Mahavakya, Ashtavakya, all Upanishads have their own Mahavakyas. Anya Devatad Vididadado Avididadadi is Kenopanishad. Anya Devatat Vididadado Avididadadi. What is that Brahman? What is that Brahman? All this we have studied in chapter Bhagavad Gita, various chapters. The Jagat Srishti, the Jagat Sthiti, the Jagat Laya Karana, from which it comes out, exists and goes back. Brahman is that it comes out. When it comes out, it cannot come out as a separate entity. It comes out as Brahman, exists as Brahman and goes back as Brahman. What is the example that we have studied all along for this? Correct. Very good. Ocean and the waves. You are also listening, Teju. Very good. Ocean and the waves. It comes out of water, exists as water and goes back into water. You see this, the world, it doesn't look like having any, the world doesn't look like having any indication of Brahman at all, because everything is looking so miserable, isn't it? When you are in love, everything looks so beautiful, isn't it? When you are in misery, everything looks so sad, correct? Is there anything outside that is joyful or miserable? Outside things exist as they are. Butterflies still fly, ocean still, endlessly the waves keep coming and going. Why they are coming, why they are going, God only. Or like that, like this the thoughts keeps, like this the thoughts keep coming, going back, not knowing where it is coming, why it is coming, where it is going back. Where is this Brahman, sir, in this world? Because you see the world, nothing is good in the world. When you say nothing is good, you are in a miserable mood. When you are laughing and joking and flying, you are in a isn't it? When you are in love, everything looks so beautiful, isn't it? Everything, even small thing looks so, and for no reason they will be smiling and laughing. Have you ever observed that? Correct, no, ma? For no reason they will be, why they smile, why they laugh. Everybody will say, what happened to you, what happened to you, what happened to you? They are in such a blissful state. Comes crashing down, isn't it? In a few days, few months, few years, it comes crashing down. And when it comes crashing down, all the laughter, the smile, the fun, the butterfly flying and all will stop. And everything looks like one. Like English winter. So dark. Canada kuda appadhaan illa. So dark all the time. Another Bharat Varsha vittu pove kudadu. Isn't it? That's why you should not live Bharat Varsha. Hong Kong le appadhaan illa. Silas? Hong Kong also appadhaan, isn't it? That Brahman, creation comes out of the world, as it were, comes out of Brahman, and when it comes out of Brahman, it is that which comes out of Brahman is Brahman. The ornament that comes out of gold is gold. Shining ornament. Gold is shining, isn't it? That's what the part 3 story. The victory is, you are shining, you are glorious, you are achieving because of, nothing is because of the ornament, it is all because of the gold. Therefore, this is what is liberation. Liberation is not it is not dissolving the matter. It is not making the matter disappear. You make the matter disappear by understanding it as consciousness. By understanding it as Brahman, the matter disappears. Or each and every Nama Rupa you will see it as Brahman, God. You use the word here. Kenopanishad uses the word consciousness. Mandukya uses the word consciousness. Somewhere else we keep using the name Brahman, God, etc. This is called liberation. The wise one, Atimuchya Dhira, Pretyasma Loka Amrita Bhavanti. The wise one attained liberation by knowing this, by understanding the matter as consciousness. How do you attain liberation? By recognizing the matter as consciousness. By recognizing the matter as God, you attain liberation. It means what? What you see as matter today is wrong. Learn to see it rightly. That is Veda knowledge. That which teaches you how to see the matter. That which teaches you how to see the world. That which teaches you how to live the life. That's why we say Vedanta is the knowledge of life and living. What is the knowledge of life? It is Brahman. And how do you live? How do you live? Knowing that you are Brahman, you live. Life is Brahman, knowledge of life. What is knowledge of living? Knowing that you are Brahman. You understand this, fear goes out. You understand this, fear goes out. What is the fear? There are only two fears. Fear of death and fear of rebirth. Most of the time we have fear of death only. Very, very few have the fear of rebirth. But most will have the fear of death. He says all the fears will goes out. Samsara means the fear. Samsara means fear. And this fear is like Sagara. Like this ocean, our fear is. What is the fear? Fear of? Like this ocean is our fear is like the ocean here. Endless it is. Meaning it keeps whatsoever you do, the fear doesn't go at all. This knowledge gives you freedom from both the types of fears. Having said all this, now chapter 2. We are summarizing the Kenopanishad. Now came chapter 2. A very small chapter. Anje mantra da adilla, isn't it? 9 mantras in chapter 1, 5 mantras in chapter 2. Very small chapter. Sishya Uvacha. I understood it. இவ்வளோ தெளிவாக சொல்லி கொடுத்தா எப்படி சார் புரியாமல் இருக்கும்? Isn't it? How with what clarity the teaching is happening, how can I not understand? The moment he said, I understood, the Guru said, no, wait, I will start the Upanishad again. That's what he said, no, I will start the teaching again. Students say, Vana, I have understood it. And how did he communicate that he has understood it? How did he communicate? Extraordinary chapter, five mantras. By the language of contradictions. I do not consider I know the Atma, I know Brahman, because it is not known. I do not consider I do not know, because Viditam, Aviditam. Viditam is known. Aviditam is unknown. Brahman doesn't come under the category. Consciousness doesn't come under the category of known or unknown. He speaks that language. And then in Mantra 3, what the Guru did? Guru endorsed his understanding and said, very good. Whoever understands my statement, whoever understands it, understood it. Rest are looking what is happening between the two now. Rest are looking what is happening between these two now. And then he said, okay, now there are people who are left behind, so I will attend to them. Pratibodha viditam madam amrutatvam hi vindati atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amrutam iha cheta veti satyamasti nacheti haveti mahati vinashti. Yeah, okay. So Sikram Mudistelna, I have a flight to catch. Mahati Vinashti, gone, isn't it? Mahati Vinashti. It is like, remember the example, you go to the funeral and keep looking at the watch. Literally it happened, direct experience. Unbelievable it was. Ranjini's father passed away. My father-in-law, he passed away. Krompetla. Yeah, you are there. Correct. Passed away. And we booked a slot for packing him up. Power cut. You know that scheduled power cut, we had 3 hours power cut. So we had to wait. 3 more people came to get packed up. So 4 got lined up. Unbelievable it was. Somebody from the third fellow came and said, Sir, neenga dhaan first ah. Enna first andra. Neenga dhaan first ah. Yes, I am correct. Naan dhaan first. What to do? நீங்க எங்களுக்கு டைம் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா வாட் இஸ் ஆஸ்கிங் டைம் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா முடிச்சுட்டு நாங்கள் சீக்கிரம் போயிடுவோம். மகதி வினஷ்டிலாம் கேட்டுட்டு வில் டாக் தட் லாங்குவேஜ். அப்போ என்ன சொல்ல முடியும்? ஸ்டோரி தான் சொல்லணும். ஆர் ஏபிள் டு ஃபாலோ த கனெக்ஷன்? ஆல் தட் ஹியர் மகதி வினஷ்டிலாம் சொல்லி முடிச்சு கேட்டுட்டு மனிஷ், யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டுட் த ஸ்டோரி? Fellow, my father-in-law has to be put into the what is that? Cremation queue. No, because it's electric one, so we had to queue. 3 hours power cut. So 4 bodies got piled up. Now the third body fellow is coming and asking me, if you give a space, I will quickly dispose and go. அவனை உள்ள போட்டிருந்தா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். அவனை தூக்கி உள்ள போட்டிருக்கணும். He would have known. Hurrying for what? அப்படியே hurry for what? What are you hurrying for? What are you rushing for? Mahati vinashti. Only to come back there. Only to, if that person has understood with all the hurry and worry and rushing and puffing, எல்லாம் பண்ணி முடிச்சுட்டு கடைசியில் அங்கதான் என்ன தூக்கி போட போறாங்கன்னா ஒரு 5 minutes உட்கார்ந்துருந்தா என்ன? ஈவன் ஸ்மசான வைராகிய இஸ் நாட் கம்மிங். Are you able to follow? Even at least for few minutes the smashana vairagya at least should come. No, that is also not coming. To that person what to do now? That's why Veda is so considerate. The Upanishad Vedas are so loving and so considerate. It keeps coming down. It keeps coming down. So what is the way now? Story. Story. And when story begins, the nirguna has to become saguna. In a story, the nirguna will become saguna. Therefore, the nirguna Brahman of 1 and 2 became saguna Brahman in chapter 3. How did he become? Yaksha. Badri, correct. You are also listening. Correct. Yaksha. That nirguna Brahman, Shrotrasya Shrotram of chapter 1 and 2 became Yaksha of chapter 3. So the nirguna became saguna. Why? You cannot give a nirguna story. You can only give a saguna story. A story in Guttali you have to give some gunas only. No, saguna Brahman. So the nirguna Brahman becomes the saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman means Yaksha. A form has come, apparition, Yaksha. And then Vayu came, Agni came. Who came first? Agni came first. First Agni came. Yaksha asked softly, who are you? How can you ask Lord Agni, who are you? Even before he comes, we know that he is coming, isn't it? Who are you? What do you do? Burn the grass. Nothing Agni could do. Fan is saying, I rotate and give air. To whom? To electricity. So electricity said, oh, avlo ego irga unaku. He switched off. And now rotate and let me see what's happening. The fan could not. Avladhan story. Are you able to follow? That's all the story is. Agni comes. He lost his power because he couldn't, nothing, he failed. And back. Tilpi who came? Vayu came. Again the same story. Who are you? Matarishva. Matarishva means I toss the planets. Matarishva means I can toss the planets. Vayu, wind god. I can do that. Move the grass. He switched off. Yeah. Air conditioner is saying, I am making you all feel comfortable. We will prostrate to the air conditioner, and if the air conditioner tells this to electricity, what did electricity do? Again switched off. Yeah. We all started cursing the air conditioner now. Poor air conditioner. It cannot do anything without the aid of electricity. So the pride, the garva bhanga, because they thought the ego, the devas won the victory over asuras. Meaning they thought we are capable of doing something. Ego is that which believes that I am capable of doing something. I can do something. I want to make a small difference to the world, sir. You want to make a small difference to the world? Yes. Just keep quiet. Yeah, just keep quiet. If you are just staying quiet only, you can make a big difference to the world. That is the ego. That is the ego. The ego says, I have done something. I can do something. I should be doing something. All this is the play of the ego, the pride. Brahman felt so compassionate. Oh no, unnecessarily because of this ego, these people are suffering. See, you have an ego and you don't suffer, God will not care. If you have an ego, you will suffer. Or if you are suffering, there is ego. Take it or leave it. Wherever there is suffering, there is ego. Go backwards. If you are in suffering, there is an ego. And Brahman is so compassionate. It said how to help the fellow out. Remove the garva. Remove the pride. Garva bhanga. We saw that yesterday. Remove the pride. Remove the pride. Agni went back. Vayu went back. And then came our hero, Indra. Yeah. Because he came. I will find out what is this. As soon as Indra came, Yaksha disappeared. Yaksha disappeared. Indra stood. Indra stood there. In that same place where Yaksha disappeared, Haimavati Uma appeared. Bahushobhamanam. How did she come? Bahushobhamana. So, it's a poetic word. Adu patti thaniya pesano. Or whole lecture you can talk about that Bahushobhamana itself. That's the beauty of that. Yaksha goes, Brahman disappeared, and in the same place Guru appeared. So another Saguna Brahman. Guru is another Saguna Brahman in the name and form. So one Saguna Brahman in the form of Yaksha, another Saguna Brahman in the form of Guru. And you cannot, all that we saw yesterday, the moral of the story is what? You cannot do it by yourself. The Veda, the Guru is essential. Without the help of the Veda, without the help of the Guru, it is not possible. He waited. He was waiting. And then Uma came and the question asked, who is that? Yaksha. Now, who is that Yaksha question should be understood as Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha. Again, when Indra asked, who is that Yaksha, how you have to understand that question as Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha kena prana pratama praityuktaha is the question that Indra is asking in the form of who is that? Who is that Yaksha? He is not asking who is that Yaksha as in the object entity. You should not connect it like that. That is the Upanishad. The same part 1 and part 2 must be in each and every aspect of part 3 and part 4. Part 1 and 2 should come. Then only the story, then only we get the moral of the story rightly. So who is that Yaksha? What is the question? Shrotrasya Keneshitam is the question. For the Uttamadhikari, as soon as the question is asked, Shrotrasya Shrotram, answer can be given. As soon as the question is asked, the answer can be given. For the Madhyamadhikari, the one who has the Mandabuddhi, the question is asked. But to understand the answer, the questioner must go through a lot of preparation. You can ask the question. See, most of the time we ask questions when we are not prepared to receive the answer. So the Guru understanding that, wait. So Uma shifted the answer to the next chapter. You ask the question and without preparation, answer cannot be understood. I have given this example any number of times in the classes. One of the very first questions that Swati asked is, why is pink pink? 2.5 years. Why is pink pink? Now what answer can you give? You can say Vibgayari colors, this is how it is, all that you can give, but none of the answer will be. So the answer is asked at 2.5. The question is asked, when will the answer be understood? And we all believe, because I have asked the question, you think you can understand the answer. Because you think you have asked the question, you are so wise that you can understand the answer. The Veda understands this. Veda says, question தான் கேட்குறீங்கோ, answer புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு you have to go through lot of preparatory practices. That is the gap. That's how the moral of the story of the gap. You can ask the question, but to understand, even now she remembers one thing. What she spoke, she doesn't remember. One day, she gave me a 3.5 hour discourse on God. She gave me in Mysore. When she was, I don't know, how old was she? She only remembers that non-stop she spoke. And I'm sitting and listening without battling, and I'm sitting and listening. Purni overtakes. Yeah, blood, no. Yeah. We will talk as though Purni is my brother's daughter. She will give 5.5 hours discourse. We can only give 1 hour discourse, Narayanji. Without understanding anything, they can give 5.5 hours discourse. The question you can ask, the words you can use, but to know the word that you are using, but to understand the word that you are using, you need preparation. We can use words and not know the meaning of the words that we use. Therefore, preparation is required. So what is the story? The summary of the story. Brahman asti. Brahman exists is the first thing. Because Yaksha appeared. The fact that Yaksha appeared is Brahman exists. Second lesson. It will appear in a incomprehensible form. It is there, but not in the form that you can comprehend. It will appear in an incomprehensible form. We can never know it without the scriptural help. Therefore, you have to become humble, go to the Shastra through the Guru. Again, it is the Shastra that teaches us. You have to become humble, go to the Shastra through the Guru. Without that, Brahman will remain unknowable. That is why Yaksha disappeared, Uma came. Are you okay till now? Are you following the story? Third important factor is Indra should develop the yogyata for jnanam. Indra should develop the yogya. Just because he has questioned doesn't mean he has the qualification. He has to prepare himself. And what is the preparation? What is the preparation? Humility is the preparation. Sikshat ikshate iti sishya. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Padekshante tu jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevayalna irundha real guru varuvar. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevayalna illana retreat guru dhan varuvar. Yeah, that is the difference. Is beautifully in chapter 4. Mundakopanishad. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmano. Mundakopanishad. Samitpani carries the pariksha lokan. He has examined the lokas. He has pariksha. He has done pariksha. He has examined everything rightly. Pariksha lokan. This lokas which is got out of karmas. Karmachitan. These lokas which is got out of karmas has been investigated thoroughly and understood. All this is not taking me, not leading me anywhere. Shrotriyam. Samitpani. Carrying the Samit goes to the Guru, who is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. That is Uma. The Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam is Uma. Bahushobhamanam. So, Jnana Yogyata Varna. No knowledge is possible without teaching. Self-learning doesn't exist. Again, no learning is possible without self-learning doesn't exist. You can try. You can't become your own guru. And everybody loves to be guru. I am the guru for myself and guru for others. Indra is waiting, and we are still making Indra to wait. Why? Because these qualities we have to develop. All story is over, Upanishad itself is over. Amma Indra waiting, and I also have to do time pass till what time I have to do? Raj? That time irka? Huh? The important lesson that is learned of the moral of the story of 3 and 4 is you cannot go to God, you cannot know Brahman without a guru. You cannot do it by yourself. Why I cannot do it by myself? You cannot do it by yourself because if you do it by yourself, what do you know? Ignorance. You will go on reinforcing ignorance in the name of knowledge. That is why the first foolishness is to become a self-learned person. The second foolishness is teaching others. Rendu foolishness. Self-learned person. Second is teaching others. Bahushobhamanam. Adu vara varakum wait pannum. So, it is a very beautiful shift. Are you all okay till now? We may have to release Indra now. That's why I am asking. Let us release him and let him hear the. Are you okay till now? The last thing in the story that he is going to give is lot of aids for remembrance of Brahman he is going to give. Because we have seen yesterday also, remembrance is the key. Knowing is not Vedanta. Knowing is always related to object. Remembrance is the key, for which we gave another Upanishadic reference. Tato smara, kritagun smara. Isavasya Upanishad. So, what is knowledge as far as Vedanta is concerned, Vedas and Vedanta is concerned? Remembrance. Remembrance. You tend to forget because of the mind gets distracted. It means what? Some aids to remember and upasana is required. Some sadhana is required. So, the Upanishad, full of compassion, will give us some sadhana also. So, the story can be practiced for different upasanas. The story itself can be used as different upasanas. This is the summary of part 3. Then comes the 4th chapter. I will summarize that also and then we will go into the mantras. Having finished the summary of 3, I will finish the 4 also. The flow la varumbodhu appuram marandirukom. The preparatory discipline is the highlight of part 4. What if I do that I can retain the teaching? I am understanding the teaching, but I am not able to retain the teaching. It is evaporating, it is disappearing, it is leaving. What if I do? I can retain the teaching. Memorize. Is is memorizing the way to retain the teaching? No, you will only memorize the words. Again, that is not retaining the knowledge. And you know the words, you will want to use the words to give us a discourse to another. Yeah, that's a problem with the words. You have the words. The moment you have a word, immediately you will want to use the word and give it as a discourse to another. And in that very giving discourse, you will go back thinking, I know. Out of humility only sometimes I say, I don't know, sir. Actually, I know. Yeah, that's the ego. So whenever I say I don't know, don't think I don't know and all, because you are the one who all the time அம்மா பேசினே இருக்கீங்கோ அதனால இல்லையா அது நம்ம நருக்ஷேகரோட ஹியூமிலிட்டி மாதிரி அது கரெக்டா வெரி சி ஹீஸ் ஹைடிங் நவ் இல்லையா அதுதான் ஹியூமிலிட்டி இல்லையா ஹீஸ் ஹைடிங் நவ் அவரோட ஹியூமிலிட்டி மாதிரி அது ஆக்சுவலி சார் ஐ நோ இட்ஸ் நாட் தட் ஐ டோன்ட் நோலாம் கிடையாது சும்மா ஒரு ஏதோ ஒரு சபாநாக பிகாஸ் யூ கீப் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் ஹியூமிலிட்டி ஐ சே ஐ டோன்ட் நோ the seeker here, the manda buddhi seeker, even though he is having manda buddhi, he wants to get out of that. So he is asking, what if I do, I can retain the teaching. Therefore he says, teach me the Upanishad. Therefore he says, teach me the Upanishad. What? Tell me the method by which I can remember and retain the teaching. What if I do, I can remember the teaching, I can retain the teaching. திருப்பி கேட்டுனே இருந்தால் என்ன ஆகும்? ஒரு ஸ்டேஜில் நல்லா தூக்கம் தான் வரும். Isn't it? At some point of time, it will be only அது ஒரு லல்லபி மாதிரி ஆகி you will only fall off to sleep. Therefore, he gives some preparatory disciplines. That preparatory disciplines, which is what we have already seen it as karma, dharma. அது விட்டுறாதீங்க, தர்மா விட்டுறக்கூடாது, அதுதான் ஆயத்தனம். That is the ayatanam, he says. That is the base. That is the dharma is the base. The dharma is the foundation. Why? Because the nirguna brahman is so subtle, grasping is, retaining that nirguna is almost impossible. If you have some average intelligence and all that, theoretically you can grasp the nirguna. But theoretically grasping the nirguna is not actual nirguna. And all those who can intellectually capture it little bit here and there, go back thinking they have understood nirguna. But then you know that they have not done. They don't know. How do you know that? They also get victimized by the fluctuations. It means they also don't know. So the manda buddhi seeker is asking that question. What is that question? Repeat the Upanishad means not repeat the teaching. Something I am missing. Something I am failing to do, because of which I am not able to retain the teaching. Teach me that also. Something I am not doing. I am forgetting. What is that? What is that discipline? 3 disciplines he is going to give, by which the Upanishad concludes. This is the summary of the entire Kenopanishad. First I thought I'll just do the summary of all the 3 and come into 4. But then it doesn't matter. I completed the summary. இதோட கூட முடிச்சுக்கலாம் நம்ம. Indra asked the question, who is this? Imetat yakshamiti. Who is that yaksha? That is the question. Part 4, mantra 1. Answer padinga.
brahmeti vacha brahmano va etat vijaye mahiyadvaviti tato haiva vidanchakara brahmeti sa brahmeti vacha brahmano va etat vijaye mahiyadvaviti tato haiva
vidanchakara brahmeti. Who is that Yaksha? The question. Answer. Brahman indeed, she said. Through Brahman's victory alone, you have attained glory. Then alone he understood that indeed was Brahman. Question is asked, the pause, answer given, understood. Look at the sequence. The question is asked, there was the pause, meaning what has to be done intermediate in the stage, he did everything, and then Uma said, Brahman indeed. Who is that Yaksha? Sa Brahma iti. That is Brahman indeed, she said. Through Brahman's victory alone, you have attained glory. Brahman's victory, you attain glory. Yeah. The Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the same thing to Arjuna. They are all dead, Arjuna. You get the benefit. Yeah, you get they are all dead already. You are the one who is going to. You are only killing those who are already dead. But you will get the glory. Are you able to follow? Yeah. Setta Pamba adikiradunradha, isn't it? The snake is already dead and you go and beat that snake up and get the thing that you killed the snake. So Brahman did everything and you think it, and you thought you are doing everything and basking in that doing. Again, Brahman is doing everything, but you don't know that. You didn't understand that. You thought you are doing everything and also basking in that. What is that basking in that? Technically, kartrutva. That's called kartrutva. I am the karta. Aham karta. Aham karta. Aham karta. The ahamkara is aham kartal in the word. That ahankara, the Sanskrit word ahankara, aham karoti. I am the doer. When you, because of all the Sanskrit, I am not going to the details of the derivations. All put together becomes ahankara. The kara comes from the root kara, the root the doer. It means what? I am the doer. Uma says, the scripture says, you are not the doer. Then who's the doer? Obviously Brahman is the doer. He understood. Wow. How good, how nice it is. He said, it is Brahman, and through Brahman's victory alone, you attained glory. Then alone he understood that it was Brahman. It indicates what? From in the middle portion of the story where Indra was the Mandabuddhi, he matured into because of the preparatory practices done rightly, he got in the Sukshma Buddhi, and all that Uma has to say is Sa Brahmeti. Sa Brahma iti. Sa Brahma, avladha. Sa Brahmeti kuda sollakudadu. Sa Brahma, avladha. Who's that? Brahman. Through Brahman's victory alone, you have attained glory. Vijaye. Vijaye means wherever there is anything glorious, beautiful, extraordinary, that is Brahman. That is, Vijaya doesn't mean victory over war like that. Don't take it literally. It means that also, but it has much more deeper meaning. Anything that is glorious, beautiful, extraordinary is divine. You follow? And anything and everything is divine. Anything and everything is divine. Anything and everything is beautiful. All that you need is what? If you come in with the enough preparation, you will be able to see it. If you don't come with the preparation, you can never see it. That preparation is very important. And people get very irritated in the preparatory stages. Because the impatience. That's why Vayu impatient, Agni, they are all impatient. What is impatience? In kindergarten, when you have to teach addition, how the child will learn? 2, 2, isn't it? 2 and 2. 2, now 4. Isn't it? Now 12 comes. 6 plus 6. How to do that? 6, toes now. Correct? Up to 20 it can go. Correct? That's how we all learn to know. Correct? So everybody learns. We all learnt that way only. Now beyond 20 what to do? Angada Sukshma starts. 4 in the fingers, 4 in the mind. Sukshma starts there only. Adu varaikkum pratyaksha da. You understand the teaching process? Till then it is pratyaksha only. 10 fingers, 10 toes. 20 gulliye you can keep counting. 20 gulla you will never make a mistake in relation to the 20. 21 will be out of syllabus. Now that Manda Buddhi has to be turned into Sukshma Buddhi. How to turn that into Sukshma Buddhi? 4 in the fingers, 4 in the mind. Appada, 4 in the mind. The child is utterly correct, no? Child is utterly confused. 4 in the mind, where in the mind to go and keep now? Because it can only know the pratyaksha. It is so convinced only about the pratyaksha. The training, slowly, and then over a period of time, it can go into multiplication, it can go into algebra, it can what not it can do. That preparation has to be done. You cannot bypass the preparation. You have done all that, no sir. Why can't you just touch and... Yeah, you have done all that. Why can't you just touch and transfer? Insanity can be transferred like that. Through touch alone, isn't it? Sanity cannot... You can't... But sir, Ramakrishna touched Vivekananda. No, you don't know Ramakrishna, you don't know Vivekananda. Who touched what also we don't know. We'll come up with weird things. But one thing we are very clear, what? Preparatory practices I will not do. But in that one thing we'll be very clear. Don't ask me to do the sadhana, chatushtaya, preparatory practices, yama, niyama, all the stories don't start. Preparatory practices, you have to add yama, niyama, sadhana, all that you have to add. Then only it is, no, don't ask to do all that. Just Sparsha Diksha, Nayana Diksha, Manasa Diksha, that's telepathy. What is that? What do they do now? They sit around the deceased person and they keep doing something, no? They keep doing something like this, no? Pranic, healing. Somebody is somewhere in Argentina, they have a disease. Sitting here, they will send energies from here. I don't know which visa it will take and go there. It goes there straight. All this really happens, no sir? All this actually happens. I am the healer. Ramatirtha. Before you try the medicine on others, try it on yourself, he says. Ramatirtha. Before you try the medicine on others, try it on yourself. Physicians, heal thyself. Yeah, physicians, he's not talking about the actual doctors. He's saying, before you talk about all these things, do it to self. Indra did all that. That is the preparation. That is the gap. That is the pause between part 3 and part 4 is the pause, where he did all that and came, and the answer. Sa Brahma. Who is this Yaksha? Saha Brahma. Vijaye Mahiyatvam. He does everything. You attain the glory. And he's almost like being so answer, have it. Doesn't have it. You keep the glory. Doesn't make any difference. It's like you keep the toy. Yeah, you keep what is the toy? What is the toy? What is the toy he's allowing you to keep, which makes you to believe you did. That we know already, the toys. 7 pebbles, name, fame, power, position, status, family. Bro, Bhaskar. Ardhan sir vardu 7வது. 7வது enna? Wealth. You can add health. Pebbles add pannine polam. Isn't it? So he is saying, all this you thought you got it. No. Who made you to do all that? So the glory should actually belongs to whom? Brahman. That is how we do it in the Upasana. We want to remember that. That is why in the Upasana, before you start the action, you do the prayer. After you get the result, irrespective of what the result is, you have to do a prayer. You know that? Before you start doing something, there will be a prayer. After you got the result, you do the prayer, irrespective of what the result is. Failure also there is a prayer. Success also there is a prayer. Meaning what? Without your help, I could not have done anything. And whatsoever has come to me is your prasad. Success, prasad. Failure, prasad. Because if success is helping you to grow, God will give you success. If failure is going to help you to grow, God will give you failure. Because divine knows only anugraha. Divine knows only one thing. What? Anugraha. That anugraha can be in any form. Success or failure. Rama's anugraha to Ravana. How? It is anugraha. That's why you get killed in the hands of Rama. Ravana attained moksha. Isn't it? Kamsa gets killed in the hands of Krishna, attained moksha. Better to go and ask Krishna, please come and take me. Yeah, because you attain moksha. You follow? Mahiyatvam, you take. Mahima is the Vijaye is Idanchakara Brahmeti. Immediately Indra understood. Yes, Brahman. Mantra 2 and 3 padingo, and then we'll take a break.
Tasmad vayete deva atitarami vanyan devanya dadye vayurindraste kenanne dishtam pasparshuste kenan pratamo vidhanchakara brahmeti. तस्माद्वा इन्द्रोऽति तरामिवान्यान् देवान् सखेनन्नेतिष्ठं पस्पश्य सखेन प्रथमोऽभिधाञ्चकार ब्रह्मेति.
Therefore, now conclusion. Therefore, verily these gods, story is over. Therefore, verily these gods, Agni, Vayu and Indra, even excel other gods, for they indeed approached this nearest. Again he comes back to his original method. This, that and Armstar again. Thus, they indeed were the first to know Brahman. First conclusion. Apra conclusion la innor conclusion. Therefore, mantra 3. Therefore, verily Indra excels other gods, for he approached this nearest. Thus, he indeed was the first to know Brahman. Therefore, all three, Indra, Vayu, Agni, is superior to other gods. Amongst these three, Indra, Vayu and Agni, Indra. Because Vayu, Agni is still not knowing. Only Indra knew. What does it mean? We already saw that. The Vayu and Agni comes up to the level of Saguna and gets stuck and they don't leave that. Indra goes to the level of Nirguna. Therefore, Indra excels other gods. Indra excels other gods because he is able to shift from Saguna to Nirguna. Vayu and Agni, representing the gross organs, can only relate with Saguna. They cannot conceive of the Nirguna. The subtle body, the Indra, the mind and the mind and intellect, what we call as the subtle body, can get closer by understanding Nirguna. Therefore, Indra excels other gods, for he approached this nearest. Therefore, he indeed was the first to know Brahman.